Hi, it's been a while. Hey guys, I wanted to make a vlog. I haven't done one in a long time, but this week I got the privilege of seeing Love, Simon, a new film from 20th Century Fox, in theaters. It opened last weekend. Since then, I have seen it 3 times. Thank you, MoviePass. I absolutely adore it. I absolutely adore this film. And I think it is so important as a film, and I don't want that importance to be downplayed in any sort of way, so I'm trying to spread the word about it as much as I can, because I want people to see this film. First off, I think that we need to talk about the fact that this is a film aimed at teenagers, that is a romantic comedy about a kid who's 17 years old, who's coming to terms with coming out and with his own sexuality and being a fully fledged human being. I don't know, like, it's just, okay. I walked out of this movie thinking about how positive of a film this is and how great this is going to be for queer youth. A lot of the time when queer films have been made, they've fallen into categories where either they're tragic or they're rated R for whatever reason, or they just aren't really films that are accessible for kids who are teenagers. It plays off of these tropes that have been developed in romantic comedies throughout the years, but it is also its own film, and it has a queer character at its forefront who is a teenager who has regular teenager high school problems and happens to be gay, and the narrative focuses on his coming out and how the people around him react to it, and it's not a sad movie. It's not a sad movie, and that's just so wonderful. It's not malicious towards any groups of people, like queer people or any of that, and the cast is very inclusive and diverse, and every character is their own character. It's just so good. One of my favorite examples of how much this sort of normalizes being queer is that in the movie, before Simon comes out, we see a character throughout the movie named Ethan, who is more effeminate and more quote-unquote obviously gay. But he has never played as a stereotype. He has never played as a caricature, and he has never played as somebody to laugh at. He has always played as somebody to laugh with, and I think that in itself is very admirable. Because even though throughout the film he's sort of bullied, he always has a comeback, and you always cheer for Ethan. You never laugh at him for who he is. The film frames itself to make sure you understand that Ethan is as much a human being and as much a part of the queer experience as Simon is. They are both human beings, and their experiences can go hand in hand, but they are also completely separate, and that's okay. And that not all queer people are the same. And that's just another thing that is just wonderful to see. The biggest thing that I took away from this movie is that it's a mainstream queer film that is genuinely heartwarming and joyous and wonderful, and you walk away smiling. And we don't get a lot of that in queer mainstream cinema. Well, we don't get a lot of queer mainstream cinema. A lot of it is indie cinema. But even the big ones in the indie scene tend to be kind of tragic and kind of sad. If you even look in the last year, the big queer film of last year was Call Me By Your Name, which I enjoy, but it is not really a happy film. But Love, Simon is a film that remains light and corny and cheesy, but like, we as queer people deserve light and corny and cheesy. So I love this movie. And I think that it is a great movie for accessibility, because this is a film that I would be okay with giving queer teenagers. You can't just like go up to a gay teenager and be like, oh hey, here's Call Me By Your Name, or here's But I'm a Cheerleader. There are quite a few queer films that are great, but a lot of them are made for adults. This is the kind of film, and I've heard this comment a lot when reading reviews and opinion pieces about this movie. This is the film I wish I had had when I was a teenager. When I was a teenager, I had Easy A, which I also love, and Easy A does have a gay character, but his happy ending happens after he runs away from home. Simon's family loves him, his friends love him, he never feels a need to sort of run away and hide. It's just about his sort of coming out of his shell, I guess. I think that's wonderful. And it gets little things right. Just like little itty bitty things, like the sort of longing that you see throughout the film of Simon like looking into a guy's eyes, wondering, not knowing whether or not he's gay, and for a split second having a crush on him almost immediately. When you're a gay teenager and no one around you is out, that sort of shit just happens. And as an adult 23-year-old watching this, I felt things that I had not really sort of realized that I had felt when I was a teenager. And it was sort of like, oh yeah, that happened, and so did this, and so did this. It gets so many things right. I felt happy walking away from this film because it felt like a very, very, very genuine film. And a film made with love and understanding to want to represent queer teenagers who may or may not know what they're doing or how they want to come out, or if they're going to come out before they go to college, or what they want. Here's the thing. I came out when I was 14, and I came out to my parents right before I turned 16. So I was out through most of high school, but even still, I was one of a handful of kids who was out in my high school, and I didn't even know how to carry myself. I would appear confident, but I was always very unsure of who I was. If I had had this film as a teenager, it would have been the perfect pat on the back, just be like, hey, you're doing great, keep going. I was lucky enough to have the It Gets Better project and the Trevor project when I was going through my coming out. But I feel like this film would have been an amazing extra step. Not only that, but it's perfect for literally anybody to watch. 2 out of the 3 times I saw it in the theater, the audience reactions to the entire film were just perfect. And everybody gets sucked into the film, and every twist and turn that happens, people react to. It's great, and it keeps you hooked in and happy, and it gets so many things right. And the parents' monologues at the end in the 3rd act of the film are just absolutely beautifully written, and Jennifer Garner makes me cry every time I see this film. It's so good. It's so good. And I want everybody to see this film because I want people to realize that these are the stories that queer people deserve. A lot of the stories that are told about queer people aren't happy stories. You get stories about heartbreak. You get a lot of people dying in queer films. There are times when people, especially queer youth who are growing up, need something to look at that's positive. And I think that Love, Simon perfectly embodies that positivity that queer youth need and deserve, and will represent them well. I love this film. It's playing in theaters nationwide right now. It's opening in the UK and Ireland in April, and then it's opening all throughout a bunch of different countries. I just looked at IMDb. It's opening throughout May and June in a lot of different places around the world. So if it's coming to you, go see it. If it's already playing near you, go see it. If you're gay, go see it. If you're straight, go see it. If you are somehow a parent with teenagers who has happened upon this video of me talking into a camera, take your kids to go see Love, Simon, please. It is the perfect sort of normalization of the queer experience that is great to share with teenagers. But yeah, if you like this video, comment, subscribe, whatever. Oh, a couple of recommendations if you have seen Love, Simon and you loved it. I have a couple of recommendations for positive queer films. One of them is called The Way He Looks. It's a film from Brazil. It's about a blind high school student who has a new classmate come in, and he develops a crush on said classmate, and it's a really great, heartwarming film, and it's shot very beautifully. It's all in Portuguese, so if you don't speak Portuguese, turn on the subtitles. When I watched it, it was on Netflix. It should still be on Netflix. It's really great. I love it. And then there's also But I'm a Cheerleader, which I watched relatively recently on Amazon Prime. It is also wonderful. It's very campy. It's very goofy. It's about these kids who get sent to a conversion camp. RuPaul is in it. He's funny as a camp counselor. There are a lot of really campy characters in it. It's great. It's a great little movie. Yeah, Okay, cool. I think that's it. I think I'm good. Great. Okay. Thank you for watching.